Terry Kolath. I'm here today with Sandy Ehlers of Eagles Preserve. We're talking about the third poetry class in the Academy of Lifelong Learning for the Love of Poetry. Thanks for joining me, Sandy.
I always love to join you, Terry.
It's so much fun to think of what you're doing with poetry in the Academy. We really didn't know what would happen when we had the first one, did we?
I think it's wonderful, and I'm getting people coming up to me and saying, oh, I want to join, I want to read poetry. This particular time, I'm going to start a list of people that would like to read poetry, and when we get the wonderful art building, we'll have an open mic.
That'd be fabulous.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It will, and let me remind everybody that you have two other poets who
are
also
I want to talk about them.
Taking part in the class. Tanya Hochschild of Parkwood and Bob Maxiner of Macoma. Both poets, and both are going to be taking part in this program.
Well, I just, those were the two people I wanted to join us when we came up with this original idea. They're just marvelous. Yesterday, we were at Tanya's apartment, and we read poems to each other. That's how we prepare, you know, and we get in a flow together very quickly. And Bob is going to be doing a marvelous poem, a Robert Frost poem, a longer poem, The Death of the Hired Man. And oh my goodness, he does it so beautifully. Then he'll be doing some of his own poetry.
Wonderful.
Yes. And then Tanya is going to do her poetry this time. She is mainly her South African poetry. It's simply beautiful, some of it even in South African dialect, tribal dialect. And they're each going to have a little bit of Mary Oliver, in tribute to Mary Oliver, because she died just a few weeks ago. And then I will end with a lot of Mary Oliver. Mm-hmm. And so I thought today, I brought you a poem. We want you to read with us. I'm going to do a poem. Mary Oliver loved dogs, and they were in and out of her life. She had a great array of dogs. And so I thought maybe we could concentrate on that light, beautiful philosophy that she spins through her dog world.
A wonderful topic. Well, I'm going to read my chosen poem right now because we are celebrating poetry in this promotional interview. Yes. Mine is by Mary Oliver. Mm-hmm. How It Begins. A puppy is a puppy is a puppy. He's probably in a basket with a bunch of other puppies. Then he's a little older and he's nothing but a bundle of longing. He doesn't even understand it. Then someone picks him up and says, I want this one.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful. It's wonderful. She understands.
6 lines, and she lets you know exactly where she's coming from. Now, I'm going to give you a little preface on this one.
Okay.
She had a dog named Ricky, and she had a friend come to visit and brought her dog named Henry. So here it goes. The name of the poem, Henry, by Mary Oliver. What is that? Said Ricky, as Harry came through the door. That's Henry, I said. He's a bulldog, and he's come to stay with us, with my friend Linda. He's a horse, said Ricky. Already my heart is pounding. Yes, he's big. He's supposed to be. Say hello to him. Really? Well, hello, Henry. I hope you don't gobble up my toys. Henry. Snort. Ricky, to me. He's not very good with words, is he? Henry, after another snort, clambered onto the couch. Mind you, Ricky lives on the couch. Ricky shouted, there isn't room for both of us. Sure there is. Just move over and give yourself a little time to know him. Ricky sat closer, but with a nervous look. It was a wonderful week. My friend and I talked. We walked on the beach. Rick and Henry went swimming. They dug a hole together. No toys got eaten. Finally, they had to leave. Ricky, by that time, was friendly with limping, lumbering, 15-year-old Henry. "Bye-bye, Henry," he said. "Snort, snort," said Henry. Then they were gone. Said Ricky, "He really is as big as a horse, but actually a very sweet horse. I hope he comes again."
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Isn't that great? Should I toss another one in?
Sure.
Now, this is the poetry teacher. Of course, Mary Oliver had to make a living. You know, when you're a poet, you have to have a job on the side. And she taught poetry. And this is a short poem she wrote about being the poetry teacher that encompasses dogs. This particular dog of hers was named Ben. The Poetry Teacher by Mary Oliver. The university gave me a new, elegant classroom to teach in. Only one thing, they said: you can't bring your dog. "It's in my contract," I said. I had made sure of that. We bargained, and I moved to an old classroom in an old building, propped the door open, kept a bowl of water in the room. I could hear Ben, among other voices barking, howling in the distance. Then they would all arrive. Ben, his pals, maybe an unknown dog or two, all of them thirsty and happy. They drank. They flung themselves down amongst the students. The students loved it. They all wrote thirsty, happy poems.
I love it.
Isn't she great?
This is a wonderful reason, what we're doing right here today, for people to join us for this program, for the love of poetry. We're doing it as a coffee with a neighbor. We'll have a little bit of coffee and a little treat, and we can discuss the poems afterwards.
I think that will be nice. We've never done coffee with a neighbor
No.
with the poetry, and I think we're ready.
We're ready. Well, I hope you'll join us. You'll hear from Sandy Ehlers, Tanya Hochschild, Bob Maxiner. Some wonderful poetry, some poetry of Mary Oliver, and some poetry they've written. And it'll be a splendid time.